What happens when your dream suddenly moves? You've been nurturing this small, quiet spark, and then, seemingly overnight, it catches. It becomes this real, undeniable momentum.
Yeah.
What is it about that specific point that changes everything?
Well, it's that transition, isn't it, from just potential to real commitment. And I think that's what we want to explore today.
Right.
That subtle, almost invisible pressure that rises up. And it doesn't rise when you fail. It rises precisely when your creation steps out of that private world and, into the light.
It's like the curious physics of creative success.
Yeah.
We really want to get into why this strange kind of resistance, what some people call the gravity of the unconscious, why it always seems to show up right when things start to accelerate.
And our mission today is really to dissect that whole emotional and psychological reality, but using a very current example.
Yeah.
And what really kicked this whole conversation off was the recent movement in the Phillip Aisling book series. We are, as of right now, 51% funded.
51%, with 16 days remaining.
Exactly.
And that shift from 35% to 51% since our last update, that's the perfect case study.
It is, because crossing that halfway mark, it signals a huge change.
It really does. The project has moved from just being a hope to being, a near certainty. And that new feeling, that certainty, it demands a whole new level of conscious choice.
Absolutely. So if you're out there walking that path, the dreamer, the creator, anyone pushing past that halfway point in their own work, and this conversation resonates, we'd love it if you'd like, share, and subscribe.
It really does help more dreamers find their way to this community.
It does.
Okay, so let's unpack the anatomy of this momentum.
Let's do it.
When any project like this launches, the early stages they're quiet. The first support is beautiful, and it comes from that inner circle.
Friends, family.
Exactly. The people who've seen the 9 years of effort behind the scenes.
And that kind of intimate validation is so foundational. It really signifies belief in the story itself.
And given how things are financially for so many people right now, every single one of those early pledges just holds this profound meaning.
It really does. But then something shifts.
Then the exposure expands.
Right, and the project starts attracting energy from beyond that safe inner world. Strangers, people who just encountered the story on its own merits, start supporting the work.
And that is true external validation. It can feel intoxicating.
What's really fascinating to me is the psychological difference between those two types of support. The inner circle support, it validates you as the creator, but the outer world support, that validates the story itself. It gives it its own independent energy.
It's like the story has found its own people.
And its own path, exactly.
This is where I want to pause and really dig into that feeling. Because when that external validation hits, something else stirs. And I've noticed it feels less like external criticism and more like an old pressure in the air.
Yeah.
A subtle feeling of drag that rises whenever creativity steps fully into the light.
Yeah.
So what is that? What's that force trying to pull us back? Is it just performance anxiety, or is it something bigger?
That's such an important question. We call it the gravity of the unconscious, and it's so deeply rooted in psychology.
Okay.
It's the inertial drag of spaces. I mean, it's the mind's comfortable urge to just return to old, safe patterns.
So when your visibility expands.
The potential for failure or rejection expands with it, and that triggers this very deeply ingrained self-protective reflex. It's whispering, stay small.
Because being small means being safe.
Precisely. And we often see this gravity show up as resistance to evolution itself.
How so?
Well, whenever creators use new tools or embrace some kind of technological shift in how they make things, that resistance comes out as doubt about authenticity.
Oh, right. I've seen that. It's not always hostile. It's just
discomfort. It's just discomfort. It's a reflex from that old unspoken belief that if something wasn't made a certain way,
meaning the longest, most difficult way.
Yes. Then it can't possibly be authentic or worthy. It's this weird hesitation to accept deficiency.
It's that idea that if a tool saves you weeks of rendering, the final art must be somehow less valuable than something that took months of hand labor.
But if the heart and intention behind the work is the same, how can the tool possibly negate the story?
It can't.
Because the unconscious resists change. But creativity demands evolution.
Yeah.
And we see this parallel perfectly in Phillip Aisling's journey.
Go on.
Experienced dream masters understand that resistance always appears right at the edge of awakening.
Right when you're about to become more aware.
Exactly. When Philip's choices become more lucid, more impactful in the dream world, the old patterns, that gravity, it tries to pull him back toward comfortable, less responsible choices.
So that pull isn't a villain.
Not at all.
It's just the natural internal pushback against the effort it takes to expand.
The freeze, the self-doubt, the reluctance to accept that a story can be both quickly produced and deeply human. That is just the echo of old ideas trying to hold their ground.
The insight here, then, is that the tools evolve, but the core intention, the heart, the story, that stays profoundly human.
Yes. And the hesitation to change is just the mind trying to maintain a predictable universe.
So if you're hearing this and you feel that internal pull towards stasis in your own life, just remember, this is the moment to choose clarity. And we strongly invite you to pause and get a deeper sense of the story fueling this.
Just search for Philip with 2 L's.
View the current Kickstarter trailer. See the creative work that is actively challenging this resistance.
You'll see what we mean.
So a very practical sign that visibility is expanding is the influx of new readers.
Right.
People are discovering book 2 first,
Yeah.
and they're asking the natural questions. Where do I start? Or where's book 1?
Which means the story is finding an entirely new audience way outside our existing community.
And this problem of sequencing is actually a perfect analogy for awakening in the lucid world, isn't it?
It is. New dreamers often don't know the rules or the foundation, but they are absolutely captivated by that expanding horizon. So we want to make sure the start of the journey is as frictionless as possible.
For those new dreamers, then, just beginning the journey, we want to give you 2 simple anchor points.
First, you can easily sign up for the newsletter, which gets you an instant discount on book 1.
And secondly, and maybe easiest of all, you can access book 1 for free.
Check popular library apps like Libby or Hoopla or BorrowBox if those are available in your region.
They're all valid first doorways into Philip's world.
And this practical point really deepens the story's core insight.
It does. Those who awaken in dreams often discover that every beginning is valid. You just need a first doorway.
Book 1 sets the foundation. It teaches you how to recognize the dream state.
And book 2, the one we are funding now, that expands the horizon into the lucid multiverse, it's all about applying that awareness.
It's about conscious choice and creating those branching timelines.
The journey needs a structure, but awareness is the real key. You can start where you are, and the path will unfold.
Don't let that anxiety of doing it right keep you from just beginning.
So we have to return to that core question. What happens psychologically when your project crosses that 50% threshold?
When it's no longer just an idea you're sharing, but a promise you are absolutely committed to delivering.
The realization is that momentum isn't just excitement. It's a profound responsibility.
Yes. The shift from 35 to 51%, it removes the safety net. And it creates this strange mix of exhilaration and vulnerability.
You're now accountable to a much larger community of strangers.
Strangers who have decided to believe in you. And in that vulnerability, the gravity of the unconscious whispers its loudest warnings.
It applies that subtle pressure. It suggests you should slow down.
Stay predictable.
Or even don't change anything from the original plan, just to avoid risk.
And that whisper is designed to keep you safe in that small spark phase. But the conscious dreamer has to resist it.
The philosophical takeaway here, the thing we want you to carry forward is this. Like Philip navigating a fully lucid dreamscape, the dreamer has to intentionally choose what happens next.
You have to move forward with conscious clarity over that reflexive fear. And that's the truth that grounds both the story and this whole creative journey.
Even when it feels like you're retracing someone else's path.
Every conscious choice you make creates a new timeline for you. Lucid choice is how you blaze your own trail.
So when a project crosses that decisive mark, it feels less like external pressure and more like the universe is leaning in.
Waiting for you to exercise that conscious choice.
And that is the moment to move forward, awake, consciously, lucidly.
So what does this all mean for you?
Have you ever had a moment like that? Where your work or your idea or your personal dream suddenly gained that kind of irreversible momentum?
Yeah, that moment it shifted from a private hope to a public commitment.
How did that feel? When the outside world started leaning in and that inner resistance started to surface?
Drop a comment. Share your story with us. We love hearing how the gravity of the unconscious shows up in your own creative life.
And as we wind down, we just want to leave you with a final note of deep gratitude and context.
Remember, this book has taken nearly 9 years to write. It was created by human hands through just countless hours of reflection, intention, and love for this story.
That labor of love is now supported by hundreds of people. And if you are ready to join this growing community and help us bring the Lucid multiverse to life,
Remember that early bird backers get free U.S. shipping and a copy of Book 2 for just $17.
so please check out the campaign and join us in making this conscious choice forward.